We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.905 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Good morning. Good morning. What a weekend it has been. Phone lines are open for you at 615-737-9986. We begin today on Johnson getting by with a little help from the Dems. Mike Johnson passing the $61 billion for Ukraine over the weekend. Isn't that nice? Do you feel like your country's putting you first? Speaker Mike Johnson delivering Joe Biden a win, $61 billion on Saturday afternoon. Reversing his long-held stance that he would never advance foreign aid without first securing America's border. Unless I missed something. Was the border secured over the weekend too? Did that happen Friday?
I think it happened early Saturday morning, if I'm remembering right.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe
We're good.
I
Don't need to worry anymore.
I thought I missed it. All right. Thanks, Mason.
Yeah.
I did miss it then. Unbelievable.
Oh, sorry. Wait, no. I was looking at the wrong thing. I think they put up another wall around Universal or something in Florida. That's my bad.
Massive foreign aid package for Ukraine, Israel. It could ban TikTok. It also could get Mike Johnson fired. Massive aid. Mike Johnson, he was happy about it. He's singing its praises. He comes out and he's like, "Hey, we did the thing." You give me a little audio.
I don't walk around this building being worried about a motion to vacate. I have to do my job. We did. I've done here what I believe to be the right thing, and that is to allow the House to work its will. And as I've said, you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may. So I will continue to do that.
They do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may. Do you think Mike Johnson did the right thing? Daily Mail has it as the way they put it is he's risking his political career by pushing through this $95 billion aid package. Package gives $26 billion to Israel, $60 billion to Ukraine, $8 billion to the Indo-Pacific, and it's through a combo of military and humanitarian aid. In fact, in a lot of this, there's money for migrants and refugees. There's money for aid in Gaza. It seems like we're back to funding both sides of that conflict. And the package consisted of 3 separate aid bills. It was voted alongside a 4th sidecar that includes a potential TikTok ban and a vehicle to repurpose seized Russian assets for Ukraine. The bill also provided cash for Kyiv. By far, it's the one most people are upset about. We can worry about Russia's border with Ukraine, but we can't worry about our own border. The distinguished gentleman in Lebanon, Calvin, has a thought on this. Calvin, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to say Trump may break another record here. If his numbers keep going up, he may prove that when the left treats you like crap, you don't have to campaign.
Maybe.
All you got to do is sit in the courtroom, go through this circus, and your numbers just keep climbing. What do you think about that?
Well, it helps when Joe Biden is using that opportunity to try and campaign, and he's doing failed impromptu, I use air quotes around impromptu visits to Sheetz and Wawa, looking like a doddering old man with memory issues.
Right. Well, it'd be interesting to see how he does if they keep him in the courtrooms and his numbers just keep climbing.
What do you think about all the foreign aid that passed over the weekend?
I'm sick at it. I just tell you the truth. I'm so sick of politicians lying. But at the same, how do we let this man go and bring in a King Jeffries? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, even though he has cut her throat. I don't like it at all.
No, we're definitely between a rock and a hard place. I appreciate the call, Calvin. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene was not happy about the foreign aid, and the way she put it on the floor is, listen, we don't have a functioning business model in this country.
The federal government continues to fund the military-industrial complex, and this is a business model that requires Congress to continue to vote for money, to continue to fund foreign wars, and this is a business model the American people do not support. They don't support a business model built on blood and murder and war in foreign countries, while this very government does nothing to secure our border. The American people are over $34 trillion in debt, and the debt is rising by over $40 billion every single night while we all sleep.
You sleeping tight with all that debt and all that money going out?
But yet nothing is done to secure our border or reduce our debt. Inflation has driven out of control. Americans are suffering every single day. They can hardly afford their grocery bills. They can hardly afford gas in their car. They can hardly afford rent. And now mortgage payments are well over $3,000, where they were only just over $1,700 3 years ago.
I mean, she's making the point that it's becoming unaffordable to live in this country, and instead of helping American citizens, we're helping citizens of Ukraine. We're helping citizens of other countries. We don't get a dime for border security. This foreign aid package is absolutely America last. Absolutely. And listen, Mike Johnson himself insisted the House would not advance foreign aid before securing America's southern border. I'm sorry, I thought Congress controlled the purse. Are we just ceding control of the purse? Because what we got doesn't advance any American interests.
The youngest generation, young adults, don't even think they're going to be able to buy a home in their lifetime. And today in Congress, the most important thing that this body thinks should be done is to send another $61 billion to a war in Ukraine that the American people by 70% do not support.
No, nobody supports the war in Ukraine. We haven't supported the war in Ukraine for quite a long time now. I mean, we were what? Once we passed the 2-week mark on that thing, I think a lot of people were like, what are we doing here? Where do we go from here? What does victory even look like in Ukraine? Are we just throwing money out the window? I think so. I think that we have a porous southern border and we have homeless veterans in this country. But make no mistake, Congress told you over the weekend that the most important thing is Ukraine.
But today, this body says the most important thing we can do, is not reduce spending. That's not it. Not to do anything to drive down inflation. Oh, no, we can't do that for the American people. It's not to secure our own border that is invaded every single day, by people from over 160 different countries. No, don't secure the American border. Let everyone in. We have over 1.8 million known gotaways. We don't know who these people are. And yet you have members of this body talking big and tough about, we have to defeat Russia. We have to protect Ukraine. But yet all of you are unwilling to protect the American citizens that pay your paycheck, pay the light bills in this building, and pay for this entire federal government. For what? For nothing. Ukraine is not even a member of NATO.
No, and you know what? You can say whatever you want about Marjorie Taylor Greene. A lot of people think that she's just a meme congressperson. But everything she says there is the absolute truth. This government doesn't care about you. They care far more about the border for Ukraine. And they showed it firsthand. They showed it on full display. They waved Ukrainian flags on the House floor. They waved Ukrainian flags as this bill passed. Unbelievable. They cheered Ukraine. They were how do you put it? Jubilant. They were jubilant. And they waved Ukrainian flags. Johnson spoke back against them waving the flags, says it's in violation of decorum to wave flags on the floor. The Democrats didn't care. Slava Ukraine, right? There was one Republican who spoke up, Anna Paulina Luna, and she told them to put those damn flags away.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida rise? I said, no. The gentlewoman from Florida.
Stand up. Put those damn flags away.
Okay.
Yeah, finally, somebody said it. Put the damn flags away. Put the flags away. It is not the Congress of Ukraine passing the aid. Rep. Kamek out of Florida, actually, because of all that, is going to introduce legislation prohibiting the display of foreign flags on the House floor. She couldn't believe what she saw either. Prior to the bill's passage, Democrats in the House of Representatives were seen celebrating, waving many Ukrainian flags on the floor of the House chambers. She posted on X, watching American representatives pass out and wave Ukrainian flags in the United States House of Representatives chamber infuriated me. As we speak, my team is drafting legislation that will prohibit the display of foreign nations' flags on the House floor. That was Kat Kamek. She's a Republican out of Florida. Good. Somebody needs to do something. But at the end of the day, everything that the deep state, that the uniparty, that all the people that hide in the shadows wanted done got done. The American government told us that Ukraine was far more important than American citizens, and we found out. We absolutely found out. Marjorie Taylor Greene said it best. Shame on the American government.
Shame on the American government. If we support our military, support our military. We should be funding to build up our weapons and ammunition, not to send it over to foreign countries to kill foreign peoples.
Amen.
And if this body was worth what it claims to be, what it is, every single one of us would be demanding peace in Ukraine between these countries, peace for these people, so that no more of them have to die. But you never hear anybody demanding peace. No. Peace is the last thing Washington wants because it doesn't fit the business model.
No, there's no money in peace. There's money in rebuilding countries, though. And nothing helps facilitate a good rebuild like a good taxpayer-funded war.
This is a business model that they say continues our economy, protects American jobs. What a disgusting business model. We should have a business model that builds up our American companies and American jobs to serve American interest, and our military and our government should care about protecting the national security of the United States of America and the Americans that pay their hard-earned tax dollars to fund all of this. America last. America last. That's all this is. Every single day, America last.
Yeah, it does. Does this not feel like America last? What do you think about it? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986 if you want to weigh in on it. You know what really infuriated me the most was Zelensky himself. He's on Meet the Press. He's doing his media tour. Victory lap, if you will. It's a victory lap. And so he's on Meet the Press. He's on with Kristen Welker. And she asks him, Americans feel like they're funding this war.
President Zelensky, as you know, this aid was held up for half a year because there is fierce opposition to sending more aid to Ukraine, particularly amongst some Republicans. How long should Americans be expected to fund the war in Ukraine?
The Americans are not funding the war.
Zelensky goes on TV and says the Americans are not funding the war. Oh. I'm learning all sorts of new things this morning. I thought we just approved $61 billion to go fund that war. On top of the billions we've already given to fund that war. We're not actually not funding the war.
If we're not funding the war, then where's that money going then?
Well, it's
that's my big question.
It's definitely not going to fund the war.
Yeah.
In Ukraine, they first and foremost protect freedom and democracy all over Europe.
Oh, we're protecting freedom and democracy all over Europe.
But I thought the money was going to Ukraine, not all of Europe.
Well, that's what he says. He says we're actually protecting freedom and democracy all over Europe. I would like Europe to defend Europe's freedom and democracy.
And Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine is sending its best sons and daughters to the front line, and it reduces the price for all Europe, for all NATO. It reduces the price for everyone, including the US as the leaders.
So because Ukraine is sending their sons and daughters to the front lines to fight, it reduces the price for everyone? If this leader really cared for his people the way he says he cares for his people, he would be trying to negotiate peace. Not going on media tours celebrating the funding he got. Not going on tours to beg foreign countries for money for this war he's losing. If he cared about his citizens the way he makes it seem like he does, he'd be calling for peace. But he's not. This foreign aid is everything that is wrong with this country. When we have fentanyl pouring over our southern border, when we have terrorists pouring over our southern border, Chinese nationals, when we have homeless veterans in our country, how can you look at this and think it's anything but America last? It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. I'm sure you listened to his show over the weekend, the Investor Coaching Show. I did as well. You can always learn so much from Paul's radio show, and I was learning from Paul's radio show before I got my own show here. And when I got my own show here, I knew I wanted to work with Paul because I've already learned so much. My wife was all in as well. She's like, we got to work with Paul. And it's because Paul holds himself to the highest level of fiduciary status. Because of that, he wants to make sure that I tell you every time this commercial airs, I get paid. That's the truth. I like the transparency that Paul wants to have, but I don't get paid to be a client. I'm a client because I didn't really know where to start before I started listening to Paul's show and then meeting Paul. How do you achieve financial freedom in the future? Well, Paul can break it down for you in a way that you can understand. He'll come up with a unique plan for your financial future after looking at your financials, because it's going to be unique to you. After that, he'll go through all of the financial planning designations he has. He has up to 8 now. And they'll come up with a plan that makes sense for you. And Paul's team will do all of that while doing nothing on commission. They'll do everything for you, not for their paycheck. You can trust Paul's team because they do nothing on commission. They'll educate you along the way so you never get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. And after they look at your whole financial picture, they'll help you make decisions. Make the decision to make a phone call today. Set up a 15-minute phone call by going to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Trump hush money trial, and is it taps for TikTok? We explain how a ban, if it happens, will not be immediate. These stories are more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Taps for TikTok.
Yeah.
I like the alliteration. Big fan.
Thank you, Brother Chris.
Yeah, man.
You made my Monday.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're talking about, how we basically sold the farm over the weekend, giving all that foreign aid to all those foreign countries and not a dime here to be spent in America. Malika in Nashville, what are your thoughts on the foreign policy funding?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ken Weaver. I like you too as well. I like all the DJs.
You too, Malika.
You're welcome. I am fed up. It's just horrible. Let's give everything to everyone, but you know what? Who cares about the people? No. We are the Americans. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about Israel. I care about America. Go Trump. USA. Thanks for calling.
All right. Appreciate it, Malika. Malika's a firecracker.
Right to the point.
I like the USA. We don't get many USA chants.
No, I
often.
think that's the first chant I've heard.
Yeah.
Since the Chris Hand show started.
So it's the first chant.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have many more. I think we need more.
Right about November.
Anna in Brentwood, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Anna?
Oh, good morning. You're going to love this. I love this. I did my taxes, helped my daughter do her taxes for the first time. And I used to let them keep a ton of my money all year. They never paid me interest, for years. Okay, the last few years, I have just been letting my employer leave me at zero. And I owed them some money. And when I did it, they said they're going to charge me a penalty of $235 for not having paid it all year. Now, do you think I'm going to pay that penalty? Do you think I owe that penalty? Because in my mind, that was my money until I did my tax return.
I hear you, Anna.
Well, the other thing, here's my daughter. She files. Now, she is adopted, but I have her birth certificate. She files. They send it back to her, wrong birth date, check birth date. All right, they call her. She goes online. She says, that's my birthday. They have refused to submit it because they said her birthday is wrong. We may need you to back us up. Will you write if I'm in prison? Will you visit?
I will put some money on your books, Anna. I promise. Anna is encouraging others to commit tax fraud also. It's 9:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We're going to warm up at some point this week. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now in that Manhattan courtroom, moments before opening statements in the hush money trial, former President Trump addressed reporters.
I'm here instead of being able to be in Pennsylvania and Georgia and lots of other places campaigning. And it's very unfair.
He's still leading in the polls in those battleground states. This has actually become his campaign appearance every day and will probably continue to do so as it plays out. And is it taps for TikTok? The House sending to the Senate a bill that could ban the popular social media app in the U.S. if its China-based owner doesn't sell its stake within a year.
It's not like the app is going to delete off your phone right away. It could be months, it could be years of wading through regulatory and legal hurdles to actually get this done.
That's Katie Natopoulos with Business Insider. And the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
9:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let me ruin it for you. Can I ruin it for you? So we passed all the foreign aid over the weekend, $60 billion for Ukraine. I know that wasn't in perspective. So a random foreign aid package passed by Congress, $95 billion, right? That has money going to Israel, the Indo-Pacific, because they can't say Taiwan, and Ukraine. I just want to point out that if you adjust it for inflation, the entire Manhattan Project developed a nuclear weapon, right? From 1942 to 1945. The entire Manhattan Project. All the bells and whistles. You adjust that for inflation, and it's $22 billion in today's money. And we just essentially gave 3 times of that to Ukraine. I don't really understand why. Is this going to make a difference in them winning the war? No. And how long will it be until Vladimir Zelensky comes back and asks us for more money? Probably going to be really soon. Because according to Vladimir Zelensky, we didn't even fund the war. We didn't even take a little bit off that. We're not funding the war.
The Americans are not funding the war in Ukraine. They first and foremost protect freedom and democracy all over Europe.
Oh, it's freedom and democracy all over Europe is what we're doing. Shouldn't that be Europe's job? I mean, I'm of the opinion that we have plenty of problems here at home. We give all that money and we don't have a dime for America. We don't have a dime for America. There's a Democrat, Jerry Connolly. He's out of Virginia. And he's been quoted as now saying that the Ukrainian-Russia border is our border. That's what he said. He was quoted on the House floor. Some will say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. Oh my gosh. Did you know that? I had no idea. Well, I have some breaking news. I feel like Congress needs to meet back up. They need to get back together. There's a border town in Ukraine. It goes by the name El Paso. It's being flooded with Russians. So maybe we can get a little bit of money for El Paso. What a joke of a country. Not a dollar for border security. The House failed to pass border security. Huge failure. This is probably Mike Johnson's biggest failure. They failed to pass a border security bill with a 2/3 majority vote on Saturday. They had a bill. They had some different language in it. It would have reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, but it failed with a 215 to 199 vote count. The government doesn't care about American citizens. 215 to 199. No border security. Unbelievable. But why would you need border security, right? Don't pay attention to the stories that 700 Chinese migrants were apprehended at a California border sector in 1 week. Don't worry about that. That's an unofficial report from U.S. Customs and Border Protection reviewed by Breitbart, Texas. Nearly 700 migrants from the People's Republic of China were apprehended entering the San Diego region in the 3rd week of April. Since the fiscal year began in October, we've had more than 26,000 quote-unquote migrants, illegal aliens from China apprehended. How many haven't been apprehended? A Customs Border Protection source, who's not authorized to speak to the media, told Breitbart, Texas, the number of Chinese migrants apprehended represents more than threefold increase from the same time last year. The source told Breitbart that China is now within the top 10 nationalities encountered by the Border Patrol along the southern border every day, and the bulk of the Chinese nationals are released into the United States almost immediately, the source says, as China adamantly refuses not to take their citizens back. And then, 26,000 since the fiscal year. And the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, they're actually actively monitoring over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal records. They're monitoring them. They let them in our country, but they monitor them. 600,000 illegal aliens who managed to enter the United States with criminal records are being monitored by DHS. That data was presented by the House National Security, Border, and Foreign Affairs Subcommittee Chairman Rep. Glenn Grothman during a hearing last Tuesday. We're monitoring 600,000 illegals. Do we get any money for that? No, of course not. But for Ukraine, all the money in the world. Joe in the borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Joe?
Good morning, Chris.
How we doing, man?
I'm good, except for this past weekend.
Yeah, I feel you.
My thoughts on the Ukraine border bill is you used to see all over the news the fighting in Ukraine, and now you have to search for it. I think this was basically a softball given, and because you never see anything within Ukraine anymore.
No, you never really do see war footage out of Ukraine. To be perfectly honest with you, I've never actually gone looking for it recently. But I'll see viral videos where it's just 20-something-year-olds partying in Kyiv. It doesn't look like a war-torn nation when I see these videos pop up.
No, thanks, and have a great day, Chris.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. I'm sure that there's fighting going on. It's just where? And is it $60 billion worth? $60 billion? Unbelievable. And our own border, we have nothing for it. We just let the illegal aliens in from our own southern border. Citizens be damned. There are illegal alien squatters refusing to leave soccer fields in New York City, and it's resulting in the cancellation of New York City's high school soccer games. This is coming to a city near you. This is coming to a city near all of us because the border is so wide open. A high school soccer match in New York City was canceled after a group of men believed to be illegal aliens refused to vacate the field when the teams arrived. The incident occurred last Sunday at Thomas Jefferson Park in East Harlem. Ooh, they'll have to change that name. Thomas Jefferson Park. That's problematic. They had around 40 boys gathered for the game, and when the teenagers arrived at the park, they were met by a group of approximately 30 men who spoke little English and were believed to be African migrants. The men refused to leave the field despite repeated requests for them to do so. This is coming near us, and they don't care that American citizens are dealing with this. They're more concerned about what's happening in Ukraine. Unbelievable. Jason, you're next on Super Talk.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm sad.
I hear that.
I just got off the phone with Mark Green's office to voice my complaints of how disappointed I was in the whole system. And they did not want to talk to me at all. Not even a little bit.
What was their reaction to your call? Like, what did the call go like? How did that break down?
I was voicing my complaints. He said, "Do you have anything else to say?" I said, I asked the guy, I said, "Am I taking up too much of your time?" And he didn't say anything. And I was talking again to tell him what I was complaining about. And he said, "Thank you for calling. Have a nice day," and hung up.
Sounds about right. I mean, it checks out. And I don't necessarily mean that that's an indictment on Mark Green, but just like the people that are up in D.C., they don't care about the average citizen in this country.
I'm going to vote against all of these people, every one of them, and I've voted Republican my whole life. When it comes to Marsha Green, if nobody else runs against her, I'll vote for Gloria Johnson. I don't want to do that, but I am sick of their mess.
I don't know if that's going to actually help anything. You know?
I don't care. It's not going to get any worse.
Well, I would caution against that. It can always get worse, Jason.
No, it's not.
I would.
How can it get any worse?
I would definitely caution against voting for Gloria Johnson. It can definitely get worse.
Tell me how.
I mean, you want to go full
The only
doomsday,
thing
or what
is
do you want to do?
you don't know what they're going to do. You know what the rest of these people that are selling us off a little at a time are going to do. Gloria will just get us there faster. That's it. There's no difference between the two parties.
So you're just rooting for the downfall and hoping to rebuild something from when it breaks?
I am done. I'm done.
I hear you, man.
I'm so mad.
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people feel exactly how you're feeling.
But they don't listen.
No, they don't. They don't listen to anybody. I feel like this is so easy. The American people don't want anything to do with Ukraine.
They would rather spy on the American people.
Yep.
And then take away some sort of app.
Yep.
You know, the 702 is perfectly fine, but TikTok is not.
Yep.
The rest of all of this other stuff, they all sell your information as well. I'm mad over all of it. Every bit of it.
It's definitely disheartening. I still wouldn't vote for Gloria Johnson if I were you.
I'll vote for whoever runs against them. If they're not a Republican, maybe there'll be an independent to run.
I mean, hopefully,
but if not, I'll vote for a Democrat.
But if that's your case, man, like find an alternative that's a Republican and champion them, like a real conservative, not even a Republican. And
I believe there's only like 2 or 3 conservatives up there. Rand Paul, our fine fella from Knoxville that represents Tennessee, that doesn't even represent my district. I can't think of his name. He's on your show all the time.
Burchett?
Tim Burchett. I believe he's one of the finest men that there is in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's like, and even Johnson himself seemed like he was solid enough until he got the chair. And I think that's one of the things that you're going to find. It's like, until they're in the chair that actually can move some things around, we don't really know who these people are. You know, Mike Johnson spoke out against FISA at length on so many different occasions, and then when it came down to it, he was the deciding vote.
He was right there with it.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't think it matters who it is. The system is trying to kill us all slowly. Not literal kill us. But
yeah, no, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I hear you, man, and I get your frustration. I don't think you're alone.
McMorey, we miss you. Sorry you couldn't be there today.
I know. I'll let him know. Appreciate you, Jason.
Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, man. You too. All right, we'll take more of your calls on the other side of the break. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
No, the bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
Chaos on college campuses growing due to pro-Palestinian protesters' violent threats. And a South Carolina man survives to tell the story about being dragged to the bottom of a river by an alligator. This story and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, some days with the way our government hands out money, I feel like we're all being dragged to the bottom of a river by an alligator. Don't you? Like, what do you do?
At some points, I don't think I want to surface after that point now.
Fair. Who knows?
We've been underwater for so long, we're getting used to it.
We're developing.
A little too comfortable.
We're developing gills.
Yes.
All right, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Higgins on the road as a response to our caller, Jason, who was so down and out about what the Republicans did over the weekend that he may vote for Gloria Johnson. Higgins, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to say I didn't really hear the whole conversation between y'all two, but I will say this, that no matter what, for the love of everything that you hold dear, do not vote Democrat. I know you're upset. I know. I'm pissed off, too. I'm pissed off every single day, but the only thing that gets me through is prayer and faith in God. And just trying to discern the best decision to make when it comes to November, midterms, and any other election. You have to make sure and just try to be led by the Spirit and make the best decision you can. But, I mean, I can tell you straight up, Democrats have no positive outlook for our country at all. At least we have some conservatives on the Republican side.
I'm with you, Higgins. I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, man.
It is 9:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Higgins said something there that it kind of rang true to me. It's like, we can't put our faith in these politicians. We just can't. But you can put your faith in God. And how do you combat what's happening in the world today and attack it with a biblical worldview? Well, there's actually a conference happening this Friday, Saturday in Murfreesboro, World Outreach Church, Culture and Christianity. There's going to be a ton of great speakers there, from Brandon Tatum to Kaylee McEnany and more. You can win tickets to this conference by going to leadwithfaith.church/WWTN. If you want to go see this conference, you want to learn what you can do, equip yourself to fight the battles, but in a biblical way. Culture and Christianity is happening April 26th and 27th. Win tickets right now. leadwithfaith.church/WWTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. It is going to warm up, we're told. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now, jurors in New York City, moments away from hearing opening arguments in the hush money trial of former President Trump. And we're monitoring. We'll let you know of any major developments. We know that each side's expected to go about an hour today. Meanwhile, escalating protests at Columbia University raising safety concerns for some Jewish students over the weekend, prompting the university to hold classes remotely today.
Videos online show protesters promising to carry out massacres similar to the Hamas attack of October 7th, chanting phrases like, "We are Hamas." A rabbi associated with the university urging Jewish students to go home, saying Columbia University's public safety and the NYPD cannot guarantee Jewish students' safety. New York's mayor says he's horrified by the hate speech, but says because Columbia is private property, the NYPD can't stay on campus unless the school requests it.
That's Rhiannon Alley reporting. By the way, we were monitoring reports this morning of police response to the campus of Yale University due to pro-Palestinian rallies getting out of hand. A South Carolina man says he knew he was going to die when an alligator grabbed him and dragged him to the bottom of a river. Somehow, says Jim Ryan, that man has lived to tell the story.
South Carolina's Cooper River is a hot spot for fossil hunters. That's what scuba diver William Georgitis was doing last week when he was confronted by a living fossil from the age of dinosaurs.
He rose up out of the water. He came at me like a lightning bolt.
The alligator, huge, he says, was ready to bite down.
And I defensively put my arm out.
The gator grabbed him and dragged him to the bottom. Georgitis stabbed at it with a screwdriver and freed himself. He's looking at extensive surgeries on his arm.
That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We've been talking about this foreign aid bill that passed $60 billion to Ukraine. $60 billion with a B. I will say this. The majority of our Tennessee reps were not for it. Burchett, Desjardins, Green, Harshberger, Ogles, Rose, all voted nay. We had a couple Republicans vote for this, including Fleischman, Charles, Chuck Fleischman, he's out of Chattanooga. Also, David Kustoff, he's a Republican. He's over near Memphis. They were fine with it. Are you fine with it? 615-737-9986. Clayton in Smyrna, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Clayton?
Oh, not much. A little farther north than that. I'm in Gallatin, but that's okay, Mr. Hand. I am absolutely not the previous caller, the caller before.
Who said he would vote? Said he was so upset he would vote for Gloria Johnson.
A vote for a Democrat is a vote for the destruction of the United States of America.
I hear you.
Trust me. I like the previous guy. I get his frustration. I am frustrated every day, but there is no reason just to continue down a path of destruction by voting for a Democrat. And like your previous caller, I agree with him as well. I mean, my faith is certainly not in government and not in any one person. My faith is in God, and he, as his word said, he places our leaders in their place. So we just have to trust that in him, and however it it plays out. But that doesn't mean we just blindly cross a street. We have to be diligent and vote for local representatives to state, and then to the U.S. representatives. Find those people, put people in office that have faith like us, that believe conservatively. They just don't have to have an R by their name, but it definitely helps. So I implore the previous caller, think before you press vote for anyone with a D by their name. So
oh my gosh, I'm with you.
Yourself.
I'm with you. I appreciate you, Clayton. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much that could make me vote for Gloria Johnson. Maybe like a brain aneurysm. That would probably be the only way. Or, I'd have to if I ever had to sign power of attorney over to my liberal sister, something like that might make me vote for Gloria Johnson. Even then, I don't know if that would happen. All right. At the same time, we have all the foreign aid money happening. Donald Trump is sitting in a courtroom. It's the trial of the century. The trials usually get this started this quick after jury selection. It feels like it's moving very fast. The jury has been chosen. It starts today. The 12 jurors that have been picked. Do you want to hear a little bit about the 12 jurors? Juror number 1, the foreman. He's a male. He lives in West Harlem, works in sales, no children, reads dailymail.com for news. Juror number 2, male, neighborhood unknown, investment banker, listens to the Michael Cohen podcast. Michael Cohen is in the attorney that turned on Trump. Is that who he's talking about? That Michael Cohen? He has a podcast?
I don't know how interesting or if I'd tune into it, but
is there a Michael Cohen podcast? I feel like that would be a red flag, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Michael Cohen. He has a podcast. That would be a red flag for me.
Yeah. What's the topic of the podcast? If they're talking if it's like a foodie podcast, then maybe it's not a hindrance on what he's doing, but
let's read this. It's called Mea Culpa. It's the only place to find new episodes of Michael Cohen's hit podcast, Cohen. The former attorney and personal fixer for Donald J. Trump once vowed to take a bullet for the president, but that was before the country was brought to its knees by Trump's lies and personal madness. I mean, in the description, it's like,
I don't think he's talking about the local pizza places. I think it's very political.
Yeah, I would imagine as such. All right, so then juror number 3, also a male, lives in Chelsea, corporate lawyer, reads the New York Times. Juror number 4 lives on the Upper West Side, from California, security engineer, brother-in-laws are lawyers. Juror number 5, female, lives in Harlem, teacher, gets her news from Google and TikTok. It's a little scary. Juror number 6, female software engineer, married with no children. Juror number 7, male, lives on the Upper East Side, corporate lawyer, married. So we have 2 lawyers and somebody else whose brother-in-laws are lawyers. Juror number 8, male, lives on the Upper East Side, retired, watches CNBC and the BBC. That would be a huge red flag for me. Juror number 9, female, lives on the Upper East Side, speech therapist, doesn't follow news closely. That's concerning as well, because when the mainstream media manipulates everything, you don't need to follow news closely to get the headlines. Juror number 10, male, lives in Murray Hill, works in commerce, doesn't really follow the news. Juror number 11, female, lives in Upper Manhattan, calls Trump selfish. Would that not be? I don't understand how this woman is still on the jury. Calls Trump selfish. They did say that she promised to be fair and impartial. Okay. And juror number 12, a female that lives on the Upper East Side, physical therapist, married with no children. Do you think Donald Trump is going to get a fair shake in New York City? I mean, we're going. No breaks. This trial has started. Donald Trump, he was talking about the trial, and he called it a witch hunt.
All right, thank you very much. I just want to say before we begin, these are all Biden trials. This is done as election interference. Everybody knows it. I'm here instead of being able to be in Pennsylvania and Georgia and lots of other places campaigning, and it's very unfair. Fortunately, the poll numbers are very good. They've been going up because people understand what's going on. This is a witch hunt, and it's a shame, and it comes out of Washington. It's in coordination with Washington, everything, including the DA's office. It's in coordination with Washington. I just want people to understand that this is done for purposes of hurting the opponent of the worst president in the history of our country.
You know, it would hurt a lot more if Biden could effectively campaign. I'll be perfectly honest with you. The fact that Biden came out and said his uncle was eaten by cannibals, it does change things a little bit. You know, Biden's not effectively campaigning while Trump's in a courtroom. Biden is saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals. He's ranted about cannibals eating his uncle a couple times now.
So single-engine planes, reconnaissance flights over New Guinea. He had volunteered because someone couldn't make it. He got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals in New Guinea.
Now, it's amazing that the foreign aid is kind of taken front and center stage, but we have to acknowledge the fact that last week the president of the United States made up a lie that his uncle was eaten by cannibals. And the White House press secretary was asked about Uncle Bozy by Peter Doocy on Friday. And the White House had to comment on whether or not the president's uncle was eaten by cannibals. Like, should this not be dominating the headlines that we have a president who can't think or make sentences and he's coming up with outlandish stories now?
Why is President Biden saying that his Uncle Bozy was eaten by cannibals?
So, you know, I answered this question yesterday. I believe I've seen some clips on your network about me answering this question. I don't have much to say beyond what I said to some of your colleagues. Look, I was there. I think you traveled with us too to Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if you were there at the memorial in Scranton. The president had a emotional and I think a symbolic moment.
I think it was definitely symbolic. I think the moment was symbolic. Just a failure of a president talking out the side of his mouth. She says, you know, look, I was there. I was there. Could you imagine what was going through her head? He's not doing the cannibals thing, is he? Oh, my gosh. Because they probably heard this story a couple times in private settings now. Okay, Mr. President, please don't say that in public. Could you imagine what she was thinking?
He had an opportunity as president to honor his uncle's service in uniform. He had an opportunity to be there as president to speak to the bravery of his uncle, and not just his uncle, but many.
She's having a tough time. She's having a tough time dancing around this one. And I feel for her. And you know what? Listen, Uncle Bozy should be thanked for his service. He should be. We should respect Uncle Bozy for his service, and we do. But the president of the United States said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
U.S. service members that put their lives on the line on behalf of this country. So his uncle, who lost his life when the military aircraft he was on crashed in the Pacific after taking off.
So she admits he wasn't shot down.
Near New Guinea, the president highlighted his uncle's story as he made the case for honoring our sacred commitment to equip those we send to war and take care of them and their families when they come home. And as he iterated, the last thing American veterans are, or the last thing Americans should be called, are suckers and losers. And that is, those types of words should not come from a commander-in-chief, as we have in the past. And we should actually be lifting up our American veterans and honoring them. And that's what you saw from this president.
That's what you saw from this president. He was lifting up our veterans, lifting them up. You know, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. There's so many veterans that are homeless and on the streets that nobody seems to have a care about lifting up at all in this administration, in this swamp of D.C. But, I mean, the way the way she pushes the losers and suckers hoax. Oh, Trump called them losers and suckers. Do we remind you of that? She doesn't touch the fact that Biden said his uncle was eaten by cannibals. Do you know that there's outraged Papua New Guinea academics lashing out about this? The academics in New Guinea said that the suggestion that cannibals ate Uncle Bozy was unacceptable, and they're quoted as saying they wouldn't just eat any white man that fell from the sky. But this is going to get memory hold so fast. The Joe Biden uncle eaten by cannibals story, we're going to lose this one.
Why is President Biden saying he was shot down? There's no evidence of that. And why is he saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals? That is a bad way to go.
He lost his life. It's not. Look, I'm not. We should not make jokes about it.
No, I don't think it's funny either. In fact, I think it's incredibly sad.
Wait.
President Biden said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I mean, your last line, it's for a laugh. It's for a funny statement, and he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country, lost his life serving, and that should matter.
This is very serious. Big D in Winchester, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Oh, man. Poor Uncle Bozy. They made stew out of him, huh? Wow.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's terrible. I'm just sick and tired of having a president that lies so much. How did this guy have so much time to be? You ever notice he's every nationality?
Yep.
He's truck drive, coal mine. I mean, how do you have time for all this?
He's a man of skill. He's done a lot.
Yeah. I'm really sad, and please, the fellow a couple of calls ago, please, back away from the window. Don't jump out. Don't vote. And I'm sick and tired of using Democrat, Republican. I am a libertarian independent. I'm for right is right and wrong is wrong. Who would Jesus vote for? You know what I mean? The Republicans are gone too, I think. I mean, the rhinos that we have up there are a joke, you know. So yep. I'm sick and tired of using either term. I'm done with it, really, you know. And it's just a sad situation that our southern border is being overrun and we're being invaded every day. And it feels like I'm going down with the ship. And I tell my wife and I tell everybody every day, I mean, lock and load. I mean, but I really don't want to have to fight my way to, you know, the grocery store or, you know, we shouldn't have to do that. We expect leaders to do the right thing. And I don't know. I'm at really no words on some of this stuff that's going on. And everybody knows it's a money laundering scam. Ukraine is a money laundering scam.
Yeah. You know, they misplace money left and right.
They got the yachts. They had pictures of the yachts. They know exactly, and the Rolls Royces and the mansions. It's like a BLM deal, but over there.
Yeah, it's a ULM. I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call, D. Thanks so much, man.
Later.
All right, it's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listen, I got to tell you about my friends at United Structural Systems. Hey, it's Chris Hanford, my friends at USS. They are your experts in foundation repair and waterproofing. Whatever you need, they can do it at USS. You've heard their commercials on Super Talk for years. I had heard their commercials for years before I got my show here. And you know what? They're the same guys that everybody tells you they are. Honest, hardworking, proud of the work they do. But they do tell me that at USS, you don't know you really need them until you know you need them. And if you're dealing with waterproofing issues right now, you know exactly what I mean. It's like it wasn't an issue until, boom, it's a huge issue. So if you're walking around your house and you've noticed standing water in your crawl space or wet basement walls or cracks in your basement floors, that's your house trying to tell you something. And the guys at USS, they'll come take a look and come up with a custom, unique solution for your home. And they won't leave until the job is done and you're satisfied. They've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. So if you need waterproofing done at your home, if you need foundation repair, maybe you're tired of staring at that sinkhole on your property, call United Structural Systems at 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855 and online at USSTN.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
A Facebook Marketplace meetup in Nashville turns into an armed robbery. We'll tell you about it at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My man Mike in Morrison wants to talk about Ukraine. What's up, Mike? You're on Super Talk.
What up, man? I don't know. I saw a Babylon Bee article the other day, and I keep expecting Mike Johnson to unzip a skin suit and Kevin McCarthy to step out. But this I'm getting tired of all this foreign legislation. Of course, there's the border pouring in. We got all kinds of stuff going on in here, and they're passing this. But I don't think Mike Johnson needs to vacate the chair just yet. I don't want Hakeem Jeffries in there. One thing they do need to get rid of is that law where just one person can vote to have the speaker vacate the chair. That's bullshit.
Oh, can you dump that? Sorry, man. You can't be swearing on the radio. You got that? All right. I get where you're coming from, but we have to say it in a more FCC friendly way. I think the thing that infuriates me the most about what happened in Ukraine with the funding is how Americans are last. And we hear it so many times. But guys, think about the billions of dollars that we're sending over there. Does Flint have good drinking water? No? Oh, weird. What about the absolute tragedy that's happening in East Palestine, Ohio? Nope, not cleaned up yet. Oh, okay, weird. What about Lahaina? Oh, we don't even talk about the wildfires in Maui anymore. And now, Lahaina wildfire survivors, they have to camp out in tents because their temporary housing measures have ended. The majority of people that have lost everything they've owned in Lahaina in the wildfire last August, They're now living in tents on their property. They're living in tents. They've been kicked out of the temporary housing accommodations. The U.S. government is not helping. It's unbelievable, though. But we don't have $1 to help American citizens. We have $60 billion for Ukraine. There's actually footage that the Daily Mail took, which shows tents all along Kanopoli Beach, which is one of Maui's most popular beaches. There are tents set up along the 3-mile stretch of road between the beach and Lahaina. There are tent encampments formed in a couple different parks in Lahaina. And those living in the tents, they've lost everything, and they feel insulted by FEMA because there's no more temporary housing. There's no cash payments coming. There's no cash to relocate elsewhere, such as other parts of Hawaii or even to the mainland U.S. And now the residents there are in tents. But we have $60 billion to send to Ukraine. I saw a text on the super text line, and it was so on point that oh man, I lost who sent it. So I just let me give you the credit without giving you the credit. But they said, listen, they just don't want Ukraine to collapse before the election. Yeah, because it would be another L for Joe Biden. Tom, you're next on Super Talk. You want to talk Ukraine? What's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Hey, this is Tom Davis. He just asked for my first name. You're a Republican candidate in the primaries. Hey, I heard your guy Jason, and man, this should get us fired up more than anything. It's mindset. We need to take it back. Hold these guys accountable, and that's how you do it is in the primaries. And there is another guy on the ticket there in the 7th with Mark Green. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying there are alternatives, and that's how we do it. Is we put ourselves out there, like you were talking about, find somebody else that is going to take that no vote to D.C. And I'm going to make it even madder. So in H.R. 8038, there is actually it's the 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act. And hidden down in this is funding for Ukraine. So you got to get mad about this stuff and the mindset. We can take it back. It's just we have to get out there and do it. So I said I snuck in on you on a Monday. So
No, I get it. Tom, where can people find you? Because you are running against Desjardins in the primary.
Yes, they can find me on Facebook, Tom Davis for Congress. They can email me if they want to be a part of the campaign, Tom Davis TomDavisTN4@gmail.com. I'm on YouTube, Tom Davis TN4, and I'm on the gram, right? Tom Davis TN4, and I think that'll get them there.
All right, Tom is running against Desjardins in the primary. Always appreciate you calling in, Tom, with the updates. Thanks so much, man. It's 10.
Yeah, Chris. Thanks, brother. Have a good day.
You too. 1031 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$10:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Opening statements today in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York City. The judge ruling if the former president takes the stand, prosecutors can question him about a number of past legal issues. Another indication school vouchers legislation in Tennessee is dead for the year. Governor Lee issuing a statement this morning that says there's no pathway for the bill this year. And Metro Police say 2 men agreed to terms on a PlayStation 5 on Facebook Marketplace, but the one selling the gaming console ended up robbing the buyer. Channel 4 says they met up in the parking lot of the Walmart on Dickerson Pike Friday, where police say the buyer handed over cash, but the seller pulled a gun, drove away with the money and the PlayStation. Metro Police detectives say they were able to track down Seth Waters and charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You've heard me preaching that you need to get your annual maintenance done, but I have to be honest with you, I wasn't practicing what I preached, and I hadn't gotten my annual maintenance done. And I tell you, every time I do these commercials, if you don't do your maintenance, you're waiting for a problem to pop up this time of year. And sure enough, I didn't do my maintenance, and I had a problem pop up. So I did what any, good-looking radio host would do. I called Busy Bee. I called them right away. And they were there in less than an hour. They said this problem wouldn't have happened if you had gotten your annual maintenance. I apologize profusely. My guy Joe Henry got my AC system right, and he was out of there within about an hour and a half. It was so fast, so quick, so easy. And if you're finding yourself in the same shoes I am, you should call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you don't want to find yourself in those shoes, but you haven't gotten your annual maintenance, do it now so you're not waiting for a problem to pop up with your AC this time of year. And maybe you need to replace that AC. Maybe it went out at the end of last season and you've been kicking the can down the road. Now is the time to replace it, and you won't find a better value on replacement systems. Busy Bee offers up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, with approved credit, and you definitely want to sign up to be a Beehive member. I'm a Beehive member. That got me front of the line service when my AC wasn't working the way it needed to be, and it also got me 10% off all repairs. It comes with no overtime charges 24/7, and it includes that thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. Plus, Busy Bee will always come see you on Saturday. They have those convenient availability hours for you. Busy Bee, your Rude Pro partner, for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized, to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
.37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find us wherever you go. We're on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, where you can listen live. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I always almost forget the YouTube. And you can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram or True Social at Chris Hand on Air. Did I get it? I feel like I got everything.
Yeah. Also go to our website. You can listen to the podcast afterwards as well.
Yeah, podcasts are also on Apple and Spotify. We had some good interviews last week.
I got them all up there.
Lily Tang Williams to Savannah Hernandez, Bernadette Pager, tons of great voices. Reverend Wu, John Amachukwu, he was on the show last week as well. We had a lot of good interviews. If you missed them, you want to listen to them again, just search for the Chris Hand Show on Apple Podcasts. So appreciate it. Did you catch Gavin Newsom on the Jen Psaki show?
No, I did not.
Nobody did. It doesn't get that many viewers. We went through it, and it's like I don't know. I'm throwing glass stones here because we're a local outfit, right? Doing local radio. But she had once called Tucker Carlson a fringe internet, having a fringe internet show, and he's trying to stay relevant. And which I pointed out, she gets 100,000 viewers a week, and Tucker had about 100 million on his interview. So I say that to say nobody really watches the show, but we get some highlights out of it, and the highlights were fascinating. They're quickly trying to turn this news cycle back into Trump versus Biden. Trump's in court, Biden's out there doing work. That's what they're trying to turn this into. That's the only thing they can turn it into, because if they can't turn it into issues, because the economy's not good, foreign wars not good, the budget, the debt of the nation not good. Well, we can go down the list. You tell me. I think it'd be quicker if you told me something well that Biden has done. So with Biden being as awful as he is, the rumors have persisted that someone's going to replace him. Right? Somebody has to. You can't run this guy again. Yet here we are, and he's still running. Jen Psaki asked Gavin Newsom, about the rumors if he would be running for president.
I do have to ask you, I know it drives you crazy that people still speculate that you're waiting in the wings to run for president. I know it's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen. But what do you think is fueling that speculation?
What do you think is fueling the speculation that Joe Biden isn't going to run for president? What could it be?
Volunteered because someone couldn't make it. Got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals.
Maybe it's the fact that the president doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's the fact that he's a shell of a human being who can barely walk, let alone speak. Maybe that's what's fueling the rumors that he's going to be replaced by Gavin Newsom. Possibly.
I don't know. I don't think much anymore. And
I'll just stop it there. I don't know. I don't think much anymore.
I don't know. I don't think much anymore. And I'm so proud of the president and the incredible job he did. Didn't surprise me at all. And I know it didn't surprise you. I really believe that. And that's what he did at the State of the State. I think it calmed everybody's nerves. And,
the State of the State calmed everybody's nerves. Talk about the State of the Union address. Did that calm your nerves? Joe Biden's State of the Union address? It made me more fearful because he looked like he was hopped up on drugs that were wearing off about 20 minutes into the speech.
I said to my friend the other day, I said, on this age, and we can get into debates around fitness, look, I'd rather have 80 years behind me than those 88 federal criminal counts in front of me. And so I feel very good about Joe Biden's prospects.
And now this is why Gavin Newsom's out there. He's a surrogate for Biden. He's smooth. Well, I feel more confident about his age than I do about the 88 criminal counts. And this is what Newsom wants to do. Newsom wants to make this about Trump's court cases, not about Biden's lack of anything, right? Sorry. But, they start talking about the Trump court cases. They have to. And Jen Psaki's upset that people say this case only helps Trump politically. Gavin Newsom's upset about that as well.
There's been this kind of chorus out there that's been driving me a little crazy, just to be honest, suggesting this case only helps Trump politically.
Well, I mean, it helps him in the poll numbers, right? It doesn't necessarily help him being able to campaign, although he's doing a heck of a job anyway, the way you see him do his impromptu bodega visits. I think that this would, again, help Trump a little bit more. I mean, help Biden a little bit more if Biden wasn't out talking about cannibals while Trump is in court. Right? If Biden wasn't out there being a gaffe machine, maybe the court case would help him a little bit more than it is.
And I'm curious. I mean, you've seen the first week. You're talking to an undecided voter about why this case should matter to them. What do you tell them?
Well, I mean, it should matter. I mean, you got a president of the United States with 88 criminal counts that he's dealing with, and he's the first ex-president that is being submitted to this criminal case. That said, may I give you a personal point of view? This is a guy that doesn't care if he is the hero or the heel. He just wants to be the star. And in so many ways, he gets what he wants. And that's the bright spotlight and focus away from a lot of conversation we just had to focus again on him.
Oh, so Newsom says Trump wants to be the focus, right? Trump wants the focus to be Trump. And he makes this point that this is Trump's game plan, right? Trump wants the attention. But I think what this trial does is really the opposite, especially for the mainstream media. It takes the focus off Biden. Instead of them having to cover the fact that he said his uncle was eaten by cannibals, they're focusing on the fact that Trump is sitting in a courtroom. It's going to help Trump in the polls. But we have to acknowledge that this court case does help Biden because it gives the mainstream media something else to cover other than cannibals and Biden failures.
And when we're focusing on him, I do worry electorally that he has a slight advantage. And so I'm a little concerned about the overindulgence around the day-to-day. I get it. I totally get it. The consequential nature of a criminal trial is profound and outsized in some respect, but not more outsized than democracy, more outsized than Dobbs and the consequences of him prevailing.
So we got to save democracy and abortion. That's all that they can. That's all that they can run on. That's it. And listen, it's not even. This isn't just me saying this. Even the mainstream left, when they're talking about the polls that they're looking at, they acknowledge that Trump is pulling ahead. CNN was talking about the likability factor and how Joe Biden's likability is trending in the wrong direction. And this is on CNN.
This is viewed favorably across Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. In the 2020 exit polls, what do we see? 50% of voters view Joe Biden on average favorably in those states, compared to just 45% for Donald Trump. Look at the Joe Biden trend line where he is now. Joe Biden is far less liked than he was 4 years ago. Just 43% of voters now view Joe Biden favorably in these states. And Donald Trump, despite everything that has happened, is actually slightly more liked. 47% favorable rating. So this isn't just the lesser of two evils that's going on. The fact is that Donald Trump is, in fact, better liked than he was 4 years ago and is better liked than Joe Biden is right now in these battleground states. It's pretty gosh darn clear.
It's pretty gosh darn clear, says CNN. Pretty clear. And there's more polling that shows Trump is gaining support, in this case, particularly of young voters. In the latest Harvard Youth poll released this week, Trump received the support of 37% of those polled between ages 18 and 29, compared to 45% for Biden. At this same point in 2020, Biden held a 23-point lead among these voters, according to Politico. So you're seeing Trump trend in the right direction, at least when it comes to the young voters. You can't afford anything in this economy. You can't afford rent. You can't afford groceries. Why wouldn't you want to give the other guy a shake? And we've seen what both of these presidencies look like now. But the economy is huge. And on NBC's Meet the Press, they were downright shocked that Trump has a double-digit lead on the economy. They don't outright say it, but you can hear it in their voice.
There are still troubling numbers in the poll for Biden. He trails Trump by 22 points on dealing with inflation and the cost of living.
Trump is up 22 points on inflation and the cost of living, according to NBC's new polling. Well, that kind of goes with that Harvard Youth poll and what I was just saying. Young people are trending towards Trump because they can't afford anything in a Biden economy. And it's not just young people either. It's all people in a Biden economy. And they also say Trump is more competent, and effective. Well, that's easy for anyone with eyes to see.
We talk about the erosion for Biden, and now you start to see it. Look at these numbers. Trump advantages on all of these traits.
And I stop here because competent and effective, that was President Biden's, the crux of his campaign pitch back in 2020.
And we actually polled this question in 2020, and it was basically the exact opposite. It was Biden with about a 10-point advantage over Trump. And again, same with handling a crisis. Biden had the edge over Trump. And how about this? It's the former president, the current president. We don't really see matchups like this. Well, now we can measure it. Who has the strong record as president? And again, Trump outpacing Biden on that front. And again, you got to mention this one too. Necessary mental and physical health. We asked this 4 years ago. It was a wash. It's now a clear liability for Joe Biden. So these are all troubling numbers for Biden.
All troubling numbers for Biden. Effectiveness in handling a crisis. Competent and effective. It's all going the wrong way for Joe. And then we see what we see out of D.C. over the weekend. Does anybody have faith in the establishment in general? Sharon in the borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Sharon?
Hey, Chris. Doing a great job today.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I am. I don't know. My hair's on fire. I'm so PO'd at this bill passing, and I can't even. And not just that bill, but all these nuts in the on the floor of the House where they have Ukraine flags. It's unbelievable. I can't even wrap my head around that.
Waving a foreign country's flag in Congress.
What the heck?
Yep.
I mean, if that's not a bunch of slaps in our faces, I don't know what is.
Oh, it is. It is absolutely a slap in the face, and they don't care that you know it.
No, they don't. I mean, they're just bold about it.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
So, to the caller that called earlier that was so frustrated after calling Mark Green's office, I can understand. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with Mark Green about some things, but, you know, it is frustrating when you take the time to call them and then you just get nothing or get the runaround.
Yep.
Or, yeah, it's very frustrating. But, yeah, to that caller, it's still not worth voting for a Democrat.
I'm with you, Sharon. I'm with you.
I would never vote for a Democrat. But, you know, we are already taxed to death. Here we are we pay tax on our income. We pay sales tax, which I don't think we should even have to pay sales tax on food, especially baby stuff. Gas tax, death tax, property tax. I mean, the taxes go on. They are just raping us financially and then do this kind of stuff. I mean, when are we, the people, going to say enough is enough? That's what I want to know.
It definitely feels like we're approaching the time to put some tea in the harbor, does it not?
I think it's a long past due. It's like, have you ever heard the story about the chickens? The farmer that moves all the time, and he has to go in and tie up the chickens' legs to move them to the next place, and they've moved so many times that when they see the farmer come in, they just cross their legs.
Yep.
It's like, you know, you in that pot of boiling water with the frog thing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, when are we going to say enough is enough? If it was enough like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but now it's outrageous. I'm going, what the heck is wrong with people?
I'm with you, Sharon, and I appreciate your call. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock store. They got a big open house coming up. We want to see you there. And if you haven't seen the Glock store, maybe you're like me. I heard Dan and Matt raving about the Glock store, and I would think, like, okay, it's a gun store. Like, it has a range. How different can it be? But I kept hearing them talking about it and talking about it. Well, I have to tell you, the Glock store is, in a word, amazing. Place is huge, bright, well-stocked, staffed with the best, friendliest, most knowledgeable people ever, especially if you're asking them about home and self-defense. That's what they specialize in. Well, that and custom Glocks. And the beautiful custom Glocks you have to see to believe. You should come to that open house because you're going to see all the things that I saw. I was just floored when I saw all the performance parts that they make right here in Nashville, from pyramid triggers to extended controls to tungsten guide rods. And they install them for you for free while you wait. But my biggest surprise, and I think you're going to be surprised as well, the Shoot 270 indoor ranges. If you have not seen these before, you have to see it to believe what they have to offer. Or I guess what they don't have to offer would be a better description, because they don't have lanes. At the Glock store, they have private shooting rooms with personal instructors. I can't wait to have my first session there with my wife. She can't wait either. You should have your session at the Glock store as well, online at glockstore.com, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
Well, I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
The bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
11 o'clock on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like the warm-up may be underway. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Opening statements today in former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York City. Here's Dave Packer.
In his opening statements, prosecutor Michael Colangelo telling the jury the defendant, Donald Trump, orchestrated a criminal scheme to corrupt the 2016 presidential election. Colangelo saying Trump schemed with former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker and Trump's one-time fixer Michael Cohen to, quote, influence the presidential election by concealing negative information about former President Trump, asserting that Trump disguised illegal payments to Stormy Daniels as payments for legal services. Colangelo calling it fraud, pure and simple.
Now, the judge ruled if the former president takes the stand, prosecutors can question him about a number of past legal issues, including aspects of his civil fraud case and gag order violations there, along with the E. Jean Carroll civil sex abuse and defamation verdicts. In a courtroom in El Paso, Texas, Jim Ryan says hundreds of migrants face state and federal charges for an April 12th incident at the U.S.-Mexico border.
A key piece of evidence is the video showing hundreds of people pushing on a chain link fence, cutting the razor wire, and rushing Border Patrol agents.
All of the individuals who were in that group are subject to a riot charge.
El Paso County District Attorney Bill Hicks.
I'm sure that some of those will plead out and be released from our county jail back to Border Patrol to be deported.
The county's chief public defender says the migrants in custody still have the right to make an asylum claim.
And here in Tennessee, school voucher legislation is going to die. Governor Lee issuing a statement this morning saying there's no path forward this year, but indicates he'll try again next year. And in Nashville, Seth Waters faces an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge for a Facebook Marketplace meetup in the parking lot of the Walmart on Dickerson Pike Friday. That's where police say Waters took cash for a PlayStation 5, then pulled a gun on the buyer and drove off with the money and the game. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Mike in Spring Hill. He's been waiting on hold for a minute. Mike, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How we doing?
First time called to your show, man. You're a breath of fresh air for WTN.
Oh, I appreciate you, man.
Love
Thanks
it.
for that.
I love your show, man. But on this Ukraine deal, they sold America out.
Oh, yeah.
It's America last, like just, I can't believe what they're doing up there with our money. $175 billion is enough to be given to them. That's my opinion on that, and we got to change Congress to get that fixed.
Oh, it's easier said than done, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, man. I mean, like the last caller said, when is America going to wake up and quit paying taxes? That way, if we quit paying taxes, they can't spend our money.
I hear you.
They can't put us all in jail, brother.
I'm with you. It seems like we've had a large portion of the audience encouraging tax fraud today after what they spent our money on over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to spread my opinion on that, and I agree with your last caller 100%. And like I said, you're a breath of fresh air, brother, at this radio station.
Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks.
Keep up the good work. All right, you have a good day. God bless.
Hey, God bless you too. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, after what they spent our money on over the weekend, I'm not shocked to hear callers say, tax fraud sounds pretty good.
Maybe that lady earlier did know what she was talking about.
Maybe. Bill, who's on the road, wants to talk about old Joe. What's up, Bill?
I just want to know, if they put President Trump in jail, do the Secret Service have to serve time with him?
I think that the Secret Service would have to go with him. At least
that must be crummy for the Secret Service guys.
It would. I feel like it would be crummy for them, but they'd be probably eating pretty good. I feel like it would be like. What was the movie? Was it Goodfellas when they're in the prison and they're like shaving the garlic with the razor blade? I feel like it'd be similar to that.
See, I don't know.
I thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if it would be.
I don't know if Joe can cook that well.
Well, he said if Trump gets put in jail.
Trump, that's my bad. I'm thinking about Trump.
We all know Joe's never going to jail at this point.
I was like, that's the mindset I was in. Sorry, that's what I want, not what's happening.
Exactly. No, I get it. But it's just so infuriating, and I understand the anger on everybody's like at the front of your mind, because it's like you think about what we're dealing with in this country, from rampant crime in big cities to inflation to gas prices to the housing market. It is unaffordable to be an American, yet we can give billions and billions of dollars of aid to a foreign country because, as one Democrat put it, the Russian-Ukraine border is our border, but we don't have a dollar for our border. And they don't address what's happening on our border. They don't address the crime that's coming in with these illegal aliens. Like, don't worry about stories like these. Don't worry when an illegal alien is coming to New York and murdering people.
According to ICE, the Haitian migrant you just mentioned turned himself in seeking asylum here in El Paso last year. He was then allowed to live in the United States. He now sits in jail accused of murder. We do have his mugshot. Take a look. Canal Baptiste is a Haitian national who was living in Middleton, New York when he was arrested for second-degree murder, among other charges, after killing his two roommates earlier this month.
So the guy kills two roommates. He's snuck into this country. He was allowed to stay. Not a dime for border security. All the money is for Ukraine. And when your grocery prices are even higher, you can blame high-stakes illegal alien gangs for doing things like this.
Truckers are on high alert after more than $12,000 worth of pork was stolen from a tractor trailer. Now, police say the trailer was parked overnight in northeast Philadelphia. They say the trucker was sleeping in his cab when he felt a shake as the thieves rifled through the trailer. Now, it's reported they made off with 56 cases of pork. According to Truckers News, food and beverage trucks are popular targets right now for cargo thieves, especially with higher food prices.
So they're just stealing right off the back of the truck. It's like for a while you couldn't eat that whole saying, like the old mobster saying, "Oh, it fell off a truck." Like you couldn't really say that anymore. It looks like we're trending back towards that.
I mean, trends circle all over the place through time.
This is true.
Makes sense.
This is true. But we have all this crime because of illegal aliens. We have all of this crime. We don't get $1, not $1 for the border. Not one. It is insane. We had a Dem staffer in Nevada killed by an illegal alien. The news report didn't refer to the alleged murderer as an illegal alien, but all the print materials did. And we don't get $1 for the border.
The deadly hit-and-run crash over the weekend has been identified as a longtime staffer of U.S. Senator from Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto.
Yeah, the medical examiner's office confirmed 38-year-old Kurt Engelhardt died in the crash on Saturday. According to investigators, his car was hit early Saturday morning near Peckham and Kitsky Lanes by a suspected impaired driver. In a statement, Senator Cortez Masto writes in part, quote, "Kurt was always eager to help a constituent at a moment's notice."
So Kurt gets murdered by an illegal alien driving drunk. The news in Nevada can't even refer to him as an illegal alien. When the media's been so taken over by leftists that they can't even refer to an illegal alien as an illegal alien, it's like, are you shocked that we don't get any money for border? Are you shocked? There's a story from, I believe it was San Diego, because I did a Google on the news station in the clip, and it said that was a San Diego news station. But there's a story where a U.S. Border Patrol agent was almost run over by a human smuggler on an ATV.
Migrant smugglers and 2 people they hired as lookouts are now facing federal charges. This comes after a U.S. Border Patrol agent was almost run over by an ATV on a hiking trail in the Otay Open Space Preserve. It happened over the weekend when the agent approached a group he saw run out of a bush to a pair of ATVs. He says one of the drivers answered questions for all of the passengers before accelerating toward the officers. K-9 units and infrared scanners led to the group eventually being caught just before dawn.
But, no money for the border. No money for the border. We have Border Patrol agents almost being run over by human smugglers. No, we don't need any money for the border. Jeff in Clarksville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Jeff?
Good morning. Yeah, I have the guy who said before he vote for the other person, Democrat or Republican, and that's the way I've been voting since I've been voting. If a Republican doesn't do what I want, why would I reward him with my vote? I'm going to vote for the other guy and put up with 2 years or 4 years or however long it's in there, and then vote Republican conservative.
But don't you
keep on putting the same person back in again? He does the same thing.
But wouldn't it make more sense to write somebody else in or vote a third party than voting for a Democrat?
Sometimes I think write-in and third party is kind of like wasting your vote. I know.
but Jeff, you just said you'll vote for a Democrat in Tennessee.
Yes, that is a fact. If my senator or if my House of Representatives voted for this bill, which I got to find out if they did, if he voted for that bill, I am voting for whoever is opposing him. And if he's primaried, I'll vote for the other guy in the primary. But why should I vote for him, reward him for what he's doing, and put him back in office if he's going to keep on doing the same thing?
So I'm following your whole line of logic up until the voting for the Democrat part. Because I don't think that you're, but if you write in somebody else, you're not rewarding the Republican that went against what you wanted.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It all started way back when with some Republican said, yeah, it was only $1 million. We only wasted $1 million. And I said, really? And I was talking to her face to face. I said, well, I'm voting for the other guy. And he was a Democrat, and he won because she said that. Because she said it's only $1 million. We got to start putting our foot down to this thing and say, you know what, you voted the wrong way, and here is the consequences. You lose.
I'm with you. I'm with you on all those counts. I just don't want to vote for a Gloria Johnson. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd rather write in Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I understand it, and I really do. But we got to get the guys out who are doing this. I mean, the Democrats, they tell us what we want to hear. They tell us what they're going to do, which we don't like. The Republicans lie to us.
Yep.
And then do what we don't want.
I get it.
So, I mean,
I think your anger is absolutely justified. I think that you're channeling a bunch of people in Middle Tennessee right now being angry like this.
I hope so, because if your representative voted for this bill on a weekend when nobody was around, and he voted or she voted for this thing, man, you need to vote him out of office.
I'm with you, Jeff. I appreciate your call, man.
Thanks.
Dave and Smyrna, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, man? It's your favorite hero.
Oh, what's up, Dave? How are you doing? What do you think about all this money going to the Ukraine?
Well, I mean, as it's well established, you know where I fall on Israel, but as far as the Ukraine, my problem with this is twofold. One is we're giving them all these munitions that we are not replacing, and on the one hand, I'd be all right with it if it was strictly military aid, but it's not. We're funding pensions. We're funding their government, and I've got a huge problem with that. And at least with military aid to Israel, we see some benefit from that. They're killing jihadists who, with our porous border, are beyond a shadow of a doubt infiltrating here. So I've got less of a problem giving military aid to Israel. At least we get something out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear where you're at on that. Personally, I'm like, we're $34 trillion in debt, and we give a lot of foreign aid to Israel every year anyway. I feel like we should just stop interfering. I feel like that would help them so much more than any dollar amount that we can send if we just stopped meddling in what they're doing.
Well, and the other thing is, by this point, their now granted their military is sophisticated because of a lot of the work that they a lot of the research they do with us, but their military is at a point now where they are far and away more technologically advanced than any of their would-be adversaries, and the Queen of Jordan can stand up and flap her gums all she wants, but everybody who kind of knows anything about what goes on in the Middle East knows that the Israelis and the Jordanians and the Saudis, to some degree, they work together covertly against Iran. But as far as your previous caller, I would only say this: go ahead and vote for a Democrat. If you like your guns, you might as well give them away. If you're that mad about Republicans screwing you, then vote them out in the primaries. But voting for Democrats is the one sure way to screw yourself. And as far as I told your call screener, with stuff falling off the back of the truck, maybe it's smart to call up Tony Soprano and Silvio and pay him to start protecting trucks.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, it's Philadelphia. There is still. If you remember when they had the Floyd riots, there were certain parts of South Philly where that stuff did not go on, and there's a reason for that. Yep. And it's because they still have a good amount of Italian and Irish mafia in those neighborhoods. My wife's from Philadelphia, so I know that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, as far as Ukraine's concerned, what are we getting out of that? And
it just seems like we're propping them up so that way we don't have them collapse before the election. This just feels very November motivated.
Well, and the other thing is, where's the Brits? Where's the Germans? Where's the rest of NATO? I mean, I'm sure the Poles probably have more of a vested interest in keeping them safe than anybody else in NATO. But that was one thing that Trump did that I was finally happy to see. I'm a big NATO proponent. They sent their guys over to Afghanistan to die for us, after 9/11. And, I feel as if we should honor treaty obligations. But, one thing that Trump did was he made sure that NATO kicked in and paid their fair share. How you doing? Good, how are you? And, the fact that we're sending all these munitions over and we're not replacing any of them is a big problem.
I hear you, Dave. Thanks for the call. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Jury issues during opening argument day in former President Trump's hush money trial, and you can forget about a school voucher bill in Tennessee this year. Midday Money News coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Going to get through a couple more phone calls here. We got Mike in Gallatin. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Chris. I can't look it up now because I'm driving, but I looked up yesterday. I was curious to see which, if any, Republican congressmen in Tennessee voted for the funding bill, and there were two or three. I don't remember the district, but you've got the microphone. I don't know if it reaches out that far to those districts or where they are, but You got to be calling these guys out.
Yeah, no, and I did. We had David Kustoff, who's from Tennessee's 8th. He's like out towards Memphis. He voted for it. We had, let me see, who else did we have? We had, shoot, the thing just totally reset. Kustoff was one of them. Was it Fleischberger?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yes.
I think it was Fleisch. Yeah.
But so the point is, you're way ahead. You're way ahead of me. The other thing is, I want to bring up, and I don't know how old you are to remember this. And when we spend money, when we do anything in government, the stated reason is never really the real reason. So back in the early 90s, George H.W. Bush was president, and we spent a lot of money. Basically, we outspent the Russians, which was probably the main reason for the fall of the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're trying to do this again. I don't know.
I mean, I just worry about the unintended consequences of this. And it was the other one that was Fleischman voted for the Ukraine funding. Burchett, Desjardins, Ogles, Rose, they all voted against it. Cohen, Fleischman, not Harshbarger. Harshbarger voted against it. It was Cohen, Fleischman, and Kustoff voted for it. Cohen was predetermined, though.
So this kind of goes to what the gentleman a few calls ago was saying: when a Republican does something he doesn't like, he votes for a Democrat. But why are these guys Republicans?
Yeah, I hear you. It's infuriating. And then all the Democrats on the floor waving Ukrainian flags after everything went down.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Hey, I appreciate your call, Mike. Thanks so much for holding, man. After they waved the flags, though, Anna Paulina Luna, she stood up and said, enough of that.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida rise? I said, no. The gentlewoman from Florida.
Stand up.
Put those damn flags away.
Put those damn flags away. Mike and Dixon, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I got to say that had to be the biggest slap in the people's face I believe I've ever seen.
Oh man!
But as for voting a Democrat, no. For years I identified as a Democrat, but they was a completely different party.
Yeah.
And seeing what they've done now, they're destroying this country. I will never vote for another one. Even if they come to me and say, please, whatever, I wouldn't care if it's a dog catcher. I wouldn't do it.
No, and I get the sentiment where it's like, well, the Republicans are going to just backstab us anyway, so we might as well not elect them in. But write somebody else in. Don't vote for a Democrat.
Wait till the primary and you primary him out and get rid of him.
Yep.
Because, I'm not putting if it's up to me, I'm not going to put another Democrat in office.
Yeah.
Ever.
Same.
Ever.
I'm with you,
Ever.
Mike. Appreciate the call, man. Gary in Hendersonville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Gary?
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, I'm a 62-year-old. I'd call myself a middle right kind of guy.
Okay.
Although I do, there's certain issues on both sides I support. So I've got a 3-part plan, and I think most of the people are kind of talking about this. But, instead of sitting around complaining about it, in business, we have to do something about it. Otherwise, what's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same stuff, right?
Yep.
So here's the 3-part plan. Real simple. Age limits, term limits, and a legitimate third party. And until those things happen, we are going to just keep chasing our tail, and I don't think anything's going to get resolved. So I'll hang up and let you comment.
Well, where would you draw the line on age?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever makes sense. I don't know, 60, 65, not 80, not 85. I mean, and by the way, we've got doofuses on both sides of the aisle in there for 50 years. It's insane.
What would you say to somebody that doesn't like term limits because it'll get rid of the good ones like Rand Paul?
Hey, the guys that we've got in there have got us $35 trillion in debt. How good are they?
Fair enough. I appreciate the call, Gary. Thanks so much, man.
Yes, sir.
I like the idea of term limits. I would approve of a term pause as well. Maybe you can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. You got to take a term off. I feel like that would be helpful. But, I mean, I don't have all the answers. I love the theories. I don't know if any of that's going to pass when we're trusting them to be the ones to pass it. So, probably not going to work out. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Dave Packer's in New York City.
Jury issues as former President Trump's New York criminal trial gets underway. Judge Juan Merchan announcing juror number 9 was concerned about media attention, but after meeting with that juror, Merchan announced juror number 9 is going to remain with us. Another juror, an alternate, will need emergency dental work, which will force proceedings to end early today.
Here in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee says there's no path forward this year for a school voucher bill. He says he may try next year to get something through, so that effectively kills it this year. And in Money News, Jim Ryan at midday.
It's a stuttering start to the week for the major stock indexes. Late this morning, the Dow Jones was up 17 points and back above 38,000. The Standard & Poor's 500 had gained 0.13%. The Nasdaq was essentially flat.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at membersnutrition.com. We talk about Members Nutrition all the time on the station. They sponsor our text line, but listen, we talk to you about them because of the good work that they're doing. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure that yourself is healthy. But when you do that health stuff, a lot of times you supplement with vitamins. You get all sorts of products. But where are those products coming from? Well, if you're buying them at a big box store, you can't be really sure where they're coming from. They're probably coming from overseas, from China. But if you get them at membersnutrition.com, it doesn't matter what you're jumping into. You're getting vitamins and supplements that are made right here in America, which is huge. And it doesn't matter what you're in the market for. Maybe it's the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense. You've heard a lot of us talking about that. I've taken that cleanse myself. It's a great way to jumpstart your body into that health journey. But maybe you need other things. Maybe you need immunity supplements, weight loss, detox, men's health, women's health, relaxation supplements. They have it all at membersnutrition.com, and they're bringing it to you at crazy affordable prices. And you can be proud knowing that all the vitamins and supplements you're getting are made right here in the USA. So go to membersnutrition.com, take a look at what they can offer, and start replacing the big box store vitamins and supplements as you're cycling out with vitamins and supplements from membersnutrition.com. That's membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
11:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I just got a text from Dan. And he said, Amanda said, I think some of those callers sound like plants. That one guy said he's going to vote for Johnson. It may be. They may be plants.
It's like I don't think they're doing too well if that's their goal.
No. And I mean, what do you want? Like, you want Democrats? You know what Democrats turns into? There's a California town right now paying $7.29 for 1 gallon of regular unleaded gasoline.
Holy cow. I drove up to Ohio this past week, and I was paying $3.50, $3.60, and I was like, oh, that's pretty high. That's ridiculous to be paying $7.
It's in a Silicon Valley town in California. $7.29 for 1 gallon of regular gas. I'm sorry. The price per gallon at the Chevron gas station in Menlo Park would top over $100 to fill up a 15-gallon tank.
Holy cow.
That $7.29 is 4 cents above the federal hourly minimum wage.
Jeez.
Imagine working for an hour and all you can afford is 1 gallon of gas.
That's wild. I can't stand that. Yeah. I was like, at my other job, it's a tip-based job, so technically if I do work an hour, it is a gallon of gas, but that's because I work at a lower wage job, and so tips. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But like for tips and stuff, so like my hourly wage equals the lower rate, not, oh, I'm making minimum wage and that's all I'm making for gas. That's wild.
It's insane. So, I mean, but that's where the Democrats, that's what they do. And we can see what happens when their policies take full stranglehold of a state like California. $7.29 for a gallon of unleaded regular gas. And you can't exactly campaign on the economy when there's a state with $7.29 gas. So what do you have to do in that case? Well, you have to send out your surrogates because, of course, Joe Biden can't talk. And they have to do things like Hillary Clinton did and say, well, Putin and Trump, they're just like each other, and Trump wants to be Putin.
Putin does what he would like to do: kill his opposition, imprison his opposition, drive, journalists and others into exile, rule without any check or balance. That's what Trump really wants. And so we have to be very conscious of how he sees the world, because in that world, he only sees strongmen leaders. He sees Putin, he sees Xi, he sees Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Those are the people he is modeling himself after. And we've been down this road in our, world history. We sure don't want to go down that again. And especially when, my view, having negotiated with Putin and knowing that one of the reasons he went after me is because he knew I would, deal with him in an appropriate way, and Trump would basically do whatever he wanted.
I love that. I dealt with him in a reasonable way. Didn't she bring an easy button? Didn't she bring a reset button to her meeting with Russia? I'm going to hit the button. I would deal with him in a real way. Trump wants to be just like Putin and jail his opposition while Trump is sitting in a courtroom because his political opposition is going after him via lawfare. What? The mental gymnastics from the left. But they can't campaign on anything else. All they have to rely on is mental gymnastics. And they're losing so many people. I mean, even Stephen A. Smith, who he tends to be pretty progressive, right? Even he's like, listen, the lawfare strategy that they're using against Trump, it's not working.
When I think about Donald Trump, I think about this case in New York. I mean, I'm looking at the Democrats right now, and again, primarily I have voted Democrat throughout my life, but I'm utterly disgusted with what I'm seeing, because it seems to me that they're trying to use the law in the courts. They've clearly politicized this thing with Donald Trump because they can't come up with a strategy to offset the momentum he's clearly gained. In at least 5 polls, he's up. He's up in the polls over Biden, at least 5 polls that I counted. That's the reality of the situation. Despite the counts against them, the indictments against them, being impeached twice and all of this other stuff, he is the presumptive GOP nominee. And you don't seem to have the issues in your favor, you believe. So because of that, you're going to manipulate the system as best as you possibly can to avoid him possibly running for re-election again. That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here to tell you, it's not working.
No, it's not working. It's not working in the polls, and it's not actually making any sense to regular, everyday Americans. Got a text here on the Members Nutrition text line, 7672. Went to Publix yesterday and realized I can't buy anything under $7. Ground beef, albeit grass-fed, $10.99. Spaghetti sauce was $8.99 for 1 jar. Eggs, don't get me started. Cheese, so expensive. But this is the thing. People don't understand what's happening on the ground level. Hillary Clinton doesn't know what's happening on the ground level. When's the last time you think Hillary Clinton bought her own groceries? So they'll comment and they'll say, Trump is just like Putin. He wants to be just like him. And they'll ignore the fact that Joe Biden is far closer to Putin than Donald Trump is. Going after political opponents with lawfare, having your DOJ jail grannies for walking into the Capitol building on January 6th and praying. They went after journalists in that case, too. The same ones that Hillary says, Trump is going to jail. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, I don't know. If Trump started jailing some political opposition for actual charges and actual crimes that they've committed, I feel like we'd all be pretty okay with it. I'd be pretty okay with that. Because the flip side, what we currently have is a lawless society, a low trust society that is just falling apart all around us every single day. In New York, a Home Depot had to hire guards with German shepherds to deter aggressive illegal aliens and thieves. This is where we are in our country. Home Depot has to hire guards with German shepherds in New York. This is in New Rochelle, New York. Home Depot is taking drastic measures to ensure shoppers are safe from aggressive migrants and thieves. The store now has 2 guards wearing MSA security hats and bulletproof vests patrolling the parking lot. And they have big German shepherds with them. One of the guards spoke with the Post and said the company entered a contract recently. However, he noted that they do not allow the dog to bite anyone, and also detailed some of the reasons they were hired. They said it's not just because of the illegal aliens, but because of a myriad of other things too, like people breaking into cars, all of that kind of stuff. This is where our country has gone. And it's happened so quickly. Can we acknowledge that? This has happened so fast under Joe Biden. It's not just Home Depot. I mean, this is happening, and this is what infuriates me the most. It's happening in these swamp creatures' own backyard. This is happening in D.C. This isn't like a faraway problem like the way the border used to be. Like, people are understanding the crime from the wide open border, the lawless DAs and attorney generals that we have that don't charge crime, that let people out. And it happens in the backyard of D.C. In fact, 4 guys were charged with 76 counts on Friday for allegedly conspiring to commit carjackings in Washington, D.C. and Maryland between December of 22 and June of 23. 4 guys. Press release by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia revealed that these 4 individuals conspired to carjack victims of their vehicles at gunpoint around the District of Columbia in Maryland and to sell the carjacked vehicles for profit or use them in future carjackings. Authorities noted that the charges build on a previous 33-count indictment for a couple of the individuals because of 11 carjackings. They added in a few others who participated in failed carjacking attempts and left 1 man dead. This is in D.C. This is happening everywhere. And then you go down to the border, and the border is just as big of a mess as well. But the mainstream media doesn't cover any of it. The mainstream media can't even take the time to cover the fact that the president said his uncle was eaten by cannibals. And then the Biden surrogates get on TV and they say everything's good. Everything's good. Eric Swalwell went on TV over the weekend and he tried to sound like an average American. And he just sounded like, I don't know, I probably can't say that word.
And I have stayed in the Congress because I've got 3 little kids. I've got $75,000 in student loan debt.
I stayed in Congress because I have 3 little kids and $75,000 in student loan debt. I understand he's trying to make himself very average Joe, American guy. But does anybody believe that that's why he stayed in Congress?
$75,000 in student loan debt, and we have childcare, costs and issues.
You gotta fly across the country. You're not representing.
Right, but I figure by living those experiences, I can be an advocate for families who have student loan debt.
Oh, he's living these experiences to be an advocate for you. The Democrats. This is the Democrats. Other Democrats are up there saying, well, also if you attack things like DEI, you're actually attacking democracy. This was Stacey Abrams over the weekend. This is a doozy.
What we know is that the attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, is an attack on democracy. It's an attack on education. It's an attack on how our economy works.
All of these Democrats, they deal with things that are out in the ether because if they focus on real issues like how much money are you bringing home in your paycheck? Are we keeping Americans safe? Are we bringing down gas prices? Are we stopping foreign wars? They fail time and time and time again. They have no real issues to campaign on. So they lean on feelings. Eric Swalwell, I want to be an advocate for you. Stacey Abrams. Oh, if you attack DEI, you attack democracy. Hillary Clinton. Trump wants to be just like Putin. He wants to jail his political opponents. The mental gymnastics of the left. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I do everything from scrubbing cages to asking people for donations to answering the phones and helping facilitate getting animals to the rehab. I'm there on the weekends, up there taking care of animals with the team.
You got a great team there. It's a small team, but a great team that works together. And
Well, I started about 20 years ago. My dear friend Carol Burgess founded Harmony in Fairview.
Okay.
And we decided to reopen it in West Nashville. And we are rocking along. Lots of animals. One of the primary calls that we get are, I found a bird, it's on the ground, what do I do? And in most situations, you should let it alone unless there's an imminent danger to that animal, because the parents are helping it and feeding it, and it just needs a couple of scary days on the ground until it gets back up into flight. What about bunnies, Melody? Can we give advice about bunnies?
The bunnies, they're just the sweetest, most innocent creatures, and we just see the worst things happen to them. Cats, dogs, lawnmowers, weed whackers.
In most cases, if the animals aren't injured, if you can put the rabbits back, that's always better to be with the mother rabbit than to come to us.
All the storms that have been coming through and just destroying nests, and a lot of babies will be found on the ground. Re-nesting is possible and preferable.
You play the video calls and you put the baby near where they found it, and the mama will actually come down and pick it up and then bring it back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN is 11:55. I was just talking to Murphy about truck meat.
Backyard butchers, man.
They got the deals.
I did my deal this weekend. I was out there at the Cool Springs Galleria on Saturday. I almost pulled the trigger on like huge box. I had to text my wife and say, hey, do we have freezer room? And she informed me promptly. And then she said, what are you talking about? And I told her how much meat we were discussing. And she said, no.
I'm just talking 40 to 60 ribeyes.
Right. We're talking roughly 32 chicken breasts, 40 to 60 various steaks. She said no. It was weird. Weird. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. Beautiful day for it.
Next time you got to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
See, there you go. That's the key. That sounds like a man that's been married less time than I have. That's what that sounds like. Sounds like a man with children that he can blame.
Yeah. It wasn't me. The kids ordered all this meat.
Have you ever blamed your kids on something?
No, but they've definitely done some things that.
But I mean, do you feel like you? I mean,
I feel like I'm saving it for a big one.
Right. Like I don't know. You need to ask the kids.
I'm saving it. You got to keep it in your back pocket. It's like in case of emergency, break glass.
What's going on in the news? Anything happening?
I don't know. I'm waiting to see when we're going to make Ukraine the 51st state. I think that'd be pretty cool. Get an extra star up there.
I tried yesterday to figure out how best to react because, I mean, I know that typically my typical MO, I know this will shock you, is to do a lot of yelling and screaming about what happened Saturday in the House of Representatives. But I think I'm gonna take a little bit. You'll have to listen, but I think I'm going to take a little bit of a different tactic when we start the show today. I just I don't know. There's a calmness about me about all of this now. I mean, really. I mean, because it's obvious that those that we elect, and I know they hide behind the, I'm different. Oh, I'm different. I'm really a conservative, or I'm really a Republican, or I'm really a this or that. I'm only one person. There's nothing I can do. And it's obvious that they don't care that we are headed to financial ruin.
Yep.
And they care more about the Ukrainian people than they do the people of Texas, or the people of Arizona, or the people of Tennessee,
or the people of Ohio, or the people of Lahaina. There's a story out that all the people that were in temporary housing for the wildfires in Maui, they're living in tents now because the resources dried up.
Right. I mean, we got 10 cities in Hawaii, and the Ukrainians are apparently, these oligarchs are spending their money buying these $1 million mansions, $1 million+ mansions in Florida. What? I mean, I would be willing to, probably more so than you, I would be willing to have a conversation about whether or not it is in American foreign policy interest.
Yeah.
To support. Just give me a little bit of a line item accountability as to where the money's going. Just a little.
No.
And that's what they say.
How
they
dare
say
you?
No.
How dare you even ask that?
That I'm a pro-Putin puppet.
You've been swallowing up the Russian talking points. No, I don't even want to have a conversation with these people about Ukraine. No. Well, I thought we all decided this already. I thought we decided no like 6 months ago.
Well, they feel like they have this is what sadly Republicans do. Is that they hold elections over your head, and it's like the election is a gun to your head. What are you going to do? Yep. What are you going to do about it, Hand?
Yep.
What are you going to do about it? We got to win an election in November. It's the reason that they hate Trump so much is because he actually means what he says.
But you have the power of the purse, and we don't get $1 for border security.
Nope.
We have punted on the power of the purse.
Nope. We're gonna snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Seriously.
Or defeat from the jaws. You know what I'm saying.
We're gonna lose.
We're gonna lose.
It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.